What's up, tribe? Welcome to the throne room. Just in case you're new here, I'm Kamal, the paragon of self-mastery. But this channel isn't just about self-mastery, it's also about power, strategy, and control as well. Here we break down the greatest lessons from history, philosophy, psychology, and warfare, and other things as well. But not just to learn them, to apply them in our everyday lives. So when it comes to power, you got three types of people. The first, they don't see the collapse coming. They ignore the signs and they're convinced that their greatness will last forever. The second, they know the patterns, but they still fall. Pride, blind spots, and they just can't adjust in time. The third, they study collapse like a crab. They know the only thing more dangerous than weakness is unquestioned strength. Here, we're the third type of person that studies collapse and builds things that last. And today we're going to break down the fall of power and how even the greatest minds fail. Now check this. Power doesn't die loudly. It dies silently through arrogance, exhaustion, betrayal, and our biology. The fall doesn't come from our enemies. It comes from blind spots, overconfidence, and systems that stop being questioned. And history is clear. Even those most smartest, most strategic, the most disciplined leaders have collapsed. Today we're going to talk about why that happens. Power doesn't vanish in one moment. It erodes through pressure, poor systems, false security. Even the most brilliant leaders lost control, not because they weren't smart enough, but because they ignored how fragile power really is. Now, let's take a walk. Our biology can override our logic. Even the most strategic men break when their nervous system is fried. The stress rewires our behavior, fatigue shortens our vision, hormones override our reason, and then what happens? You're no longer in charge, your biology is. And if you're not in control, you are not in control when your nervous system rules you. You don't build empires with adrenaline. You build them with regulated clarity. Power doesn't corrupt, systems do. Most leaders don't start out evil. They start out normal, but in systems that reward silence, loyalty, and abuse, slowly, power turns into poison. Unchecked power becomes abuse. So don't just audit the people, audit the rules that protect the blind spots that the people sit in. The greatest people in history were not defeated by enemy. They were betrayed by people close to them. Not because they were naive, but because their power became a myth. And the myth that they rested in stopped them from seeing the knives behind the smiles. The saying isn't stabbed in the front. Power without paranoia is arrogance in disguise. Genius isn't a safety net. There are leaders who were smarter than you and me. They were more gifted, more educated. They still fell. Power built on genius still needs insulation. You don't protect the throne with brilliance. You protect it with systems and buffers. Collapse happens quietly at first. The warning signs are always there, but we dismiss them. I'll fix it later. I'll handle it later. The next time. The fall begins long before the first collapse is visible. So we have to anticipate collapse. Design around it before it happens. Truth alone isn't enough. You can be righteous, you can be wise, you can be 100% correct and still lose power. Even truth is powerless if it lacks the protection of perception. You gotta frame your story. The truth needs a story as well. Frame your message, control perception, or lose influence. The question is, are you building a kingdom that only survives when you're perfect, or a system that can absorb your flaws? Because real sovereignty isn't about how loud you win, it's about how long you last. The strong empires didn't fall because they lacked talent, they fell because they stopped reflecting. Mastery isn't just about brilliance, it's about building systems that catch what brilliance alone can't. So let's implement some real world systems that can help us. The collapse audit. Ask yourself, where are you ignoring feedback? Who around you has power that you're not watching? What are some emotions that are overriding your logic? These are early kind of signs, and this is where the collapse starts, not outside of us. So you have to train yourself to be under attack, because it's like one day you will. Also, audit your rituals and your routines. Are they reactive, strategic? Who's loyal around you? Who's drifting? Who's quietly opposing you? Audit your blind spots. What areas of your life are you uncomfortable in? Collapse doesn't knock. It's very patient and quiet and invasive. These are not suggestions. They're actually mandatory for somebody who wants to be a true sovereign. Because you're not just building for now. You're building for your legacy. And if your systems can't survive pressure, betrayal, emotional breakdown, public collapse, then it's not sovereign. It's temporary. So the throne, it won't be built by men who collapse under their own instincts. It's built by men who govern themselves, even when they're under pressure. And this is the training. This is what we train for. Not just for power, but for when the power inside you is kind of going crazy. We're not training for attention. We train to withstand that with destroy lesser men than us. Because you won't see the collapse when it starts. It won't announce itself, hey, I'm about to collapse you. It whispers through comfort, compliments, and the absence of being challenged. So collapse begins when you stop questioning your power, when you think mastery is permanent. When ego replaces reflection, that's why we train. That's why we pause. That's why we audit ourselves, because you don't need more wins. You need to build something that can survive your wins. So if this resonated with you, definitely subscribe for more breakdowns. Definitely comment below what's something that you might be overlooking or you think that could, help the conversation. You can definitely share this with somebody that you think can benefit from this. And also, check out some other things. I got the affirmation videos. I'm gonna have some music videos, and I might even start doing some like little essays on like different topics that I find interesting.